was a really random experience, but you're just checking into a hotel, and it was really neat. The gentleman came up to me and said, "Hi, where are you from?" "I'm from Michigan. What's your name?" "I'm Charlie Shasky," and kind of go through there. And he said, "Oh, man, well," goes and talks to somebody behind the line, and next thing you know, he's like, "I've got Mr. Shasky here from Michigan, and he's coming up there, and nice introduction, takes me right up to the line. I've got my luggage, and what are you going to do while you're here?" And so it's just really that beyond exceptional service. And then so when you go into another hotel and you're standing there and the person's like, "Be right with you, I'm on the phone," or no eye contact, or there's just really no verbal communication. I'm not there to help you. I'm really just here to perform a transaction for you and send you on your way. I'm not looking to make that experience memorable. And so one thing with this is really thinking about what are those things that you're doing in your branches right now. It's really a different way of looking at some of the ways that you can increase your membership by looking at the things that you can do to drive them away. And so taking that back and looking at that element, what are these things that we could be doing to drive our members away that we shouldn't be doing, we need to change immediately. It's all about that experience. I've got it's just really a nice overview of what it would look like, but 17% will leave you right after a single service mess up. And there's a lot of examples out there. Everyone's had an experience where they ran into poor customer service. Whether it's you're dining out and the food's cold and there's a problem and somebody comes up there. What's the problem right off the bat? Are you offering a solution? Are you helping? Or is there any interaction? What does that look like? Are you good at just the time when somebody's happy and they're coming in? How are you when there's actually a bad spot? We've all run into the situation where there's a negative account. What are we looking at as far as an opportunity to make that a memorable experience? We're a credit union, that's where we thrive in. So are we going above and beyond to be able to look for those solutions for them? What are the components of a great member experience? There's a lot of things that are involved in this. I really liked this overview because it's not one thing. If you're really good at your products, and I know my products really well, but you're really bad on the people side and you're not able to get beyond the product, it's all about looking at that benefit that you're going to be able to offer that team member or the member. And it really adds all into the value of where we're at as an organization throughout the credit unions. Really looking at every opportunity. It's the place we talked about already. As soon as you walk into the door, what does it look like? Is it clean? Is there somebody recognizing you right off the bat? "Hi, welcome to ECC Credit Union." "Hi, welcome to Honor Credit Union." What are we doing as far as our acknowledgement? Are we on the phone? "I'm on a collection phone call. I don't have time. I'm going to put up that dreadful finger. I hate that finger." Does anyone enjoy that finger when you know that you want somebody to stop or wait? But what does it do? What does it tell the member? You're not as important as this situation. So it's looking for those extraordinary opportunities to shine. I love this quote. And actually I have a short video to go on with this, but this is Jeff Bezos from Amazon. If you haven't looked into some of this stuff, I highly recommend it. The quote is, "We see our customers as invited guests to a party, and we are the hosts. It's our job every day to make every important aspect of the customer experience a little bit better." I love that aspect because as a credit union, we're inviting you into our home, in essence, and we're going to look at every aspect of making that a better experience. So that is looking at your online experience, that is looking at your account experience, that is looking at when you lose your debit card, what does that experience look like to the member? Are we offering a solution, or are we simply just going through the motions? So, click here. And I love this video. It is by a gentleman named Dennis Snow. And he works at Disney, and he sets this up perfectly, better than I could ever say it. And volume. Maybe. IT, help. Everybody, a round of applause for IT.
Immediate service.
Yeah.
The little things.
And IT, everyone.
Expand the product to include the entire.
Don't go away. Stay there. All right.
Hi, I'm Dennis Snow, and this is Speaking of Service Excellence. One of the strategies for improving customer loyalty is this: expand the product to include the entire experience. Expand the product to include the entire experience. Every organization, every company has their product. So in a restaurant, it's the food. In a store, it's the merchandise. In a bank, it's the financial products. So every organization has the products that they sell. But there are also the processes that customers have to go through in order to get that product. So it could be making an appointment, it could be parking a car, waiting in line, all of those things plus many other things. So there are a lot of processes that customers have to go through in order to get your product. And I believe that's what we're really selling, is that entire experience. So expand that product to include the entire experience. That's the differentiator. I'm going to show you a short video clip from a presentation that I think validates that point. And when we come back, we'll talk about what that means in terms of the actions we can take in our own businesses.
Just about everybody in the room raised their hand when I asked them if they've been to Disney World. So I'm going to ask you in your mind to project yourself to Disney World, into one of the Disney parks, whatever your favorite place there was, right? Magic Kingdom, Epcot, whatever it is. And you're walking around. And here's my question for you. And just call the answers out. Call them out as loudly as you can. What were some of the things that impressed you about Disney World? What were some of the things that stood out? Anybody? How clean it was? Good. What else? The friendly people? How colorful? What else? How organized the way they move you through the lines? What else? The attention to detail. Okay, your answers are great. Your answers are great. And they're a little bit weird. Because I want you to think about this from a business perspective. I asked you what impressed you about Disney World, and I'm pushing you for answers. And we've gotten 5 or 6 answers so far. Nobody yet has said anything about the rides. And ladies and gentlemen, the rides are kind of the point. When you go to Disney World, you can't wait to go on Space Mountain or the Tower of Terror. Has anybody ever been on the Tower of Terror? Okay, it's a great ride, isn't it? If you haven't, it's obviously a haunted hotel theme. And you go inside and you sit down in these special seats in these elevators. And it takes you up 13 stories up to the very top. And when you get up to the top, the elevator starts to shake and it feels like it's breaking. And a lot of people want to do this. I have. No. But it's a 13-story free fall where you literally come out of your seat on the way down. And these seats are Scotch Guard. Because you don't want to go on this ride right after you had breakfast. Okay? And when you land, it takes you back up to the top and it drops you again. Now get ready for this. That one ride all by itself cost Disney World $100 million to build. Just that one ride cost $100 million to build. Now think about this. When I ask you, what impressed you about Disney World? People say it was clean. The people were friendly. From a design perspective, that's frustrating. But from another perspective, I think it's very important because Disney World is not selling rides. What are they selling? An experience.
So here's the key point. If we're going to create that intense loyalty, we need to move from a task mentality to an experience mentality. Everything that we do as we interact with customers, we can do it as a task or we can treat it as an opportunity to create a positive experience. A server delivering a dessert in a restaurant, a nurse starting an IV, anything that we do can be done as a task, or it can be looked at as an opportunity to create a positive experience for that customer. And usually it's just a simple thing, a genuine smile, a kind word, a demonstration of care. It's very easy to fall into a task mentality. When I was working on the rides at Disney World, you're boarding thousands of people on the ride. Watch your head and step, watch your head and step. And it's very easy to fall into that task mentality. And so we used to do things like comment on what they might have written on their t-shirts or ask people where they're from. Have they seen Mickey Mouse? I used to love to read the children's names on the back of their mouse ears so that I could call them by name. Little things. I mean, they weren't big things. They were just little things. But they created a positive experience moving from that task to that experience mentality. So I challenge you to do this. As you're interacting with your customers, at every moment, ask yourself, am I doing what I'm doing with a task mentality or as an opportunity to build a positive experience? And just asking that question, you can't help but move in the right direction.
So I love that video. I think it does such a great job of really encapsulating everything that we're discussing here, and how often it's so easy to get in that routine of finding that passion to say, oh, it's that next person. Next. What are we looking for to look at an opportunity to go above and beyond? And one thing we did at our branches when I was a branch manager, just little things that you can go above and beyond, is it's simple. On the envelopes that we would do out, we would just put thanks for being a member, and we would write the team member's name on that. So team members, Ashley, that's from here from Honor, can attest to that, but Ashley, thanks for being a member. And it's so small, but it is one of those things that, wow, that's an experience. That is looking at that next level. Do you need this paperwork? Can I email that to you? Can I help? Can I make your day a little bit easier? And so I just love that experience aspect, because like I said back in the Vegas scenario, is you don't recognize how bad it is until you've had something so good. And by walking into a credit union, it is an experience. You're a member. You are bringing in a new aspect to your normal day-to-day finances. Doing finances is cold. It's a cold experience. How can you offer more of an experience for that member so that they walk away from there like, holy cow, you've got to go see Jessica at ECCU, or you've got to go see this place. It's dramatically different than just going in and taking that next member or that next customer. So it's a really key point. This video, it's like I said, it's Dennis Snow, and it's the experience. I highly recommend you guys taking that back and showing it to your teams, because it's such a valuable message. If there's anything that you take away beyond the huddle topics, is bringing this element into your credit union. So that leads us into our next step of any questions. Actually, let's open that up. Any questions to some of the things that you guys are doing at different credit unions that we could share that offer a great experience? Anything that's outside of the normal that you guys offer? Yeah.
On Friday, on Fridays we offer popcorn, free popcorn.
Perfect.
And we've got a sign that just says Popcorn Friday.
Uh-huh.
And we have people come in just for the popcorn.
Love it.
And we're busy on Friday.
Yeah. That smell brings them in, right? That smell brings them right in.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
We start first thing in the morning, and the guys come in there for breakfast when they go to work. And sometimes at lunch they walk out with 3 or 4 bags. When we first started it, I went through probably 5 batches of popcorn. And last Friday it was crazy, and we went through 11 batches.
Great. Wow.
Yeah, but it's fun. They love it.
Thank you. Any others? Yeah.
We send cards to members if they've lost family
Okay.
members, personalized cards.
Absolutely. Well, and that's on the other side of that too. It's very important to know what your marketing plan is as well, so that certain mailings don't go out to team members that maybe congratulating them on a birthday or something in that manner. So absolutely, really looking at that experience. I love it. Great. Yeah, you know, and I think it's the small things that ultimately make the ultimate difference, as far as even on, depending on how your branches are set up, but really even escorting, say, a member to the spot where they need to go. walking around and saying, oh, I'll be right back, or opening that door, or looking to write that personalized note. When's the last time that you encouraged somebody to say, hey, wow, this member came in, they were talking to you about a rough day. In this same scenario, just write a handwritten note. Thanks for being a member, really appreciate you being a part of your credit union, and sending that out. Guarantee you that your branch would offer you the stamp to be able to do that. So thank you for sharing those. And next is the establishing the relationship. Amy Milliman, said her last name right? Okay, perfect. It's from ECCU, and I remember bringing her up with me. She has some really good concepts on establishing the relationship, and yeah, that builds in so much to the experience aspect. We've broken up just a nice scenario here of really just 3 areas to really helping to establish that relationship, but they're really highlights. And because people love quotes, we added a quote. The goal as a company is to have a customer service that is not just the best, but legendary. And of course, Sam Walton. So looking at that, what are some ways that we get to know our members? This is the engagement part.
Ask no questions.
Okay. Such as?
It's more about having the interaction, because if you have 2 ways of asking questions that I've seen in my career, and one is an interrogation style, which isn't super great. The other one is more just interaction, like you'd be talking to a friend, and getting to know them and letting them talk more than what you're talking, and then that you learn so much, but your members will tell you a lot.
When you think about new accounts, how much process goes into new accounts? We have to ask the question, social security number, name, date of birth. But if you are really treating that just as an opportunity to interrogate, okay, next question, next question, next question, did you really get a chance to get to know them? Did you really think about, do you know who this person is before they walked out? This might be a 15, 20-minute conversation, and I always think, what do I know about them before they left? Can I say, hey, I just met this really great guy, works at Stryker, he's been there 15 years, versus I know his name, his social security number, and his date of birth. So new accounts is one of those, new accounts and loans, absolutely, loans as well. So what are some other things that you guys do to get to know your members during new accounts or loan applications?
Listen.
You listen? How do you listen?
You talk to them, you listen to what they have to say. You know, if they want a loan, you know, there's what, you know, what do you have to? Sometimes people don't want to talk, but, you know, usually, you know, get them talking, we're just fine. Learn more than you want to know.
Are you a natural listener? Are you good at listening?
I think so.
How many in the room will say, I'm a great listener? Come on, nobody?
I'm not going to claim that.
What?
I'm not going to claim that because I can always do better.
Well, thank you. That's absolutely a trainer's trick, right? We could always be better at what we're trying to do every day. But I also don't claim myself as a great listener. I'm a multitasker. I've got a lot of things going on. I'm busy all the time. And it is hard to listen. Teaching children to listen is probably one of the most struggles, right? But being a great listener takes a lot of time and it takes practice. And it is truly not only asking the question, but then listening fully to that answer. So that's great. Listening is very important. David, I think it's your hand up over here.
I personally, when I open accounts, I actually get a notepad out. I'm studying them, so I'm writing things that stick out, like how many kids they have, what their hobbies are, things like that, so I can restate those things and drive it back to our mission. But that's a really good way for me that I can forget things easy.
Okay.
So, and to them, they're like, wow, he's listening. Whereas it's not like, oh, let's get you a checking, let's get you so.
How many of you put everything into the computer nowadays? Everything for new accounts and loan applications, right? All goes into the computer. So it might feel a little old school to go back to a pad of paper, but that's helping you listen. And that's truly helping you be able to use that information later. Do you then move that information to the computer, or is
Absolutely. Then it's a lot more seamless, and I'm not asking questions as I'm going. Like it's not like an interview. It's more of a relationship building in the first 10 minutes.
Very good. Thank you.
I love that because that's that advisorship, and I that's so valuable because how often have you had somebody that came in, wanted one thing, and after they've spent the time talking to you, you're like, that is not what you need. That is not what you need. This is what you need, and this is where I need to get you there. And this is my expert opinion of what you need to have. And truthfully, that's what you all are, is the expert in that situation. And how is that advisorship in that scenario? And so getting those additional details to say, wow, you do not need to go into debt in this route. We need to look at a home equity loan for you in this route. This is going to help you and give you a much better scenario. So I really like that.
Well, we are in a room of experts, right? You guys work with our members every single day. So what are some of your common questions that you ask to get to know your members? Let's share that.
Where do you work?
Okay.
What do you do for a week?
Very good. So where do you work? What do you do for a living?
Are you from this area?
Good. What does that question help you with?
Lots of things.
It does, right? Good. What else?
Just something as simple as like, do you have any good plans this weekend?
Great. Great.
What brings you here?
Ah, a very good one. What brings you in today? Right? Start that conversation off right. Hopefully they'll tell you your life story at that point, and then you don't have to ask anymore, right? So keep going. What else?
What about how can I help you more than I currently am? Really looking at what can I do additionally, or what has changed. Maybe it's somebody that's seasoned, that's been a member for a long time. What's changed in your life that I'd be able to look at and be able to maybe offer a solution?
Anything else? Well, there's some great questions.
Depending on how well you know the member, how long they've been. What I was going to say was, what's new with you? Is there anything that we don't know? Anything like that?
Yeah. We all have new things going in our lives, right? Every single day something new is happening, challenging, whether it's with the kids, whether it's with school, work. I mean, all of those things allow us to know that their needs are changing every single day, and it gives us an opportunity to listen and really to be able to see what we can do to be solutions driven. So solutions driven and providing products and things that can help them. It's great. Any other great questions before we move on?
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Great.
That opens up everything.
It does. If you had the person that says, I go to school. And then you have the one that will talk for 30 minutes. Right? Great. Well, great questions are always important. I know we did some silly ones this morning in our introduction and our icebreaker. I know you don't always have to go that silly, but sometimes even just breaking the ice with a member is what's needed. Sometimes you have to get out of that interrogation mode and really start to think of questions of just get to know them as a person. They are not my third account today. They are not my 15th loan that I'm doing today. They are another human being who walked in this door, and it's my job just to hang out with them, to enjoy a conversation and be able to walk them out with a smile and a solution. It's great.
Okay. One more thing that is actually a really helpful thing. How many, on the account specialist side or on the loan side, how many of you actually order business cards? Okay. How many of you actually send those out with new accounts? Perfect. I love to hear that. That's one of the most dynamic ways that you can improve some of those referrals and coming back. Hey, here's 5 business cards with my information on it. If you've enjoyed the service that I've been able to provide you today and you'd like to be able to, whether you have a brother or somebody that you know that's coming into town, please pass my card along. Then you become that person. I've got somebody. Who has somebody that you talked about as far as whether it's insurance or somewhere, like, oh, go to see this person because they're just fantastic. You become that expert for them. So I'm really excited to see those hands come up.
And I don't know if we're still really doing it at ECCU at this point, but I know that in the past, a great tip for business cards is I know not everybody likes to put the expense, especially in certain positions, as in high turnover positions, but it doesn't hurt to even put out business cards that are blank in the sense of they have all the information on the credit union and maybe the account info or the hours and things on the back. And then some of the branches have gone out and got stamps and or use old school typewriters or great penmanship. I don't have great penmanship. I'd have somebody else write mine. But even in those positions that don't truly get a whole box of business cards, it doesn't hurt to buy a set of blank ones and be able to make them more fun and still be able to provide them so that all the employees are offering business cards to our members when necessary.
Love it.
Yep, sorry, can I answer that? On
Yeah.
the front of the cards that we do hand out, does it say that it's really my pleasure assisting you today or
Yes.
something along those?
Yeah. So Beth's from UCCU, she's from our Pawpaw branch, and they say on the front of them, they say, it was my pleasure to serve you today. And therefore they are able to handwrite in their cards, which is really great. Hmm?
Oh, he was talking about the guy system. Used to know a gentleman that he had a guy for this, he had a guy for that.
Mm-hmm.
He was the
Yep.
guy that did his mortgages and the guy that did his plants repair.
Some people like to collect business cards. It's important.
The power of referrals are so, it's gonna, it changes your business, it changes your advisorship. It's amazing if you become that person where somebody, oh, they sent me over here, said you're the best. How awesome would that be to be in that spot? And if that's your goal of looking to provide that experience, it's invaluable. It's very memorable. So with that said, what makes your credit union unique? Like I said, this is going to be an engagement day, so this is spending some time in your group, kind of discussing some things, but the key to this is you can't use a couple terms. Do not use the following terms: community, service, people, teams, rates, or technology. In your groups, come up with some ideas what makes your credit union unique without using those terms.
Volunteer.
I'm going to move quickly past this one. This is really giving you those next level tools of really looking at establishing that relationship. So ownership, really taking the responsibility. It's no one else is going to come up to you on each basis unless it's in a negative scenario, but you have the responsibility to take ownership for the scenario when anybody comes into that branch. It's your responsibility. It's your time to shine to be able to make that member have a memorable experience and have service excellence ultimately. Keeping it simple and not trying to overcomplicate and throw up all the products that you have. Hey, let me tell you everything I have and hope that works for you. No, that is not being an advisor. That is a product pusher and a car salesman. Expectations. Understand your members have expectations of service and really keeping that high level of expectations. So revisit this. I'm going to, it all starts with a smile. Nice little baby picture, so keep you running. So it truly does. Make it memorable. Have a great experience. And I thank you guys for that part of it. And I'm going to turn this over to our next presenter. So thank you, everyone.